One thing I pride myself on is my ability to manage my time and get things done. I have always been the type of person who does what she says she's going to do, and I keep my word to myself. This has been extremely helpful in my career, but especially when working for myself. Over time, I've identified the things that have had the biggest impact on my time management success. In this episode, I'm sharing 6 habits and routines that play the biggest role in helping me manage my time. If you struggle with time management, I hope this episode sheds some light on what works for me and how. So let's get into the 6 habits and routines that help me manage my time. The first one is getting my movement in at the start of the day. So in City Girl Savings Podcast episode number 58, I break down my morning routine for boosting productivity, and I'll make sure to link to it in the show notes. But a big part of that routine is getting my daily movement in as early as I possibly can. So I wake up around 4:30 Monday through Friday, so 4:30 in the morning, and by 5:45, I am doing my workout. I follow Sydney Hattishell's YouTube training programs. I absolutely love them. And so my daily workouts will range from 30 minutes to an hour. After my workout, I immediately have a protein shake, and then I head out to a local park to get my steps in. You may remember from episode 105, where I shared my personal and business goals for 2024, that getting 10,000 steps in a day, Monday through Friday, is officially a non-negotiable for me. Now, I actually started going to this local park when my mom was sick last year, and I had timed it so that I catch the sun rising while I start my walk. And not only is being out in nature so therapeutic, but it also allows me to double down on my activity. I've already worked up a sweat from my workout, so I just keep it going. I also love using that time for walking to listen to a few chapters of the Bible and then transition to audiobooks and podcasts. I try to get about 2 miles in during this walk, so I'll spend about 35 to 40 minutes walking, and this won't usually get me to 10K steps, but it will get me about 75% of the way, and I can get the rest during my day. So not only does activity in the morning mean that the rest of my day can be focused on work or relaxing or personal time or time with friends and family, but I actually have the energy from my morning through the late afternoon because of this workout and the endorphins and all of that good stuff that comes from getting movement in. It feels great. So I'm not sluggish and tired throughout the day. I am, pumped and ready to go. I also can move forward with my day. So my workday typically starts around 8:30 a.m. and I can move forward with my day knowing that I don't have to worry about scheduling in any more time for movement. Any additional things that I do, or if I have time to take a walk or whatever the case may be, it's purely extra. I have already hit my movement goals, and my normal activity will get me to those 10K steps. That's a really good feeling. I do want to add here, though, that I am a morning person, so it's very easy for me to get up at 4:30 in the morning. But I also go to bed early, so I'm usually knocked out by like 9 o'clock and sometimes earlier. I think that also helps me ensure that I'm up at 4:30, because if I go to bed late, I definitely feel it when I try to wake up the next day. So if you're not really a morning person, maybe consider switching this to a nighttime if you need to get your activity in. The next habit and routine that I have that helps me manage my time is dedicating 1 day per week to meal prepping. So let me first just say that I do recognize that only cooking once a week is not ideal for my budget, but it's what I can commit to for myself. And I guess that's probably one thing that helps me keep promises to myself, is being realistic about what I can do. I do make sure, though, that the meal that I prepare can last about 2 to 3 days, including lunch and dinner. So while my boyfriend and I may buy, food for the other meals, we do keep it as light as we can. And also, most weeks, he'll also cook once a week. So it's not all dining out. It's a nice variety. But currently, my designated meal prepping day is Tuesday. It is a day that I don't take calls or meetings, so my calendar is completely blocked off. And that makes it perfect for me to just be in the mental state to actually cook and prepare a meal. I have time to try new recipes and not worry about rushing. Also, if I'm missing an ingredient, which has happened before, I actually have time to go run to the store and not stress about how I'm going to get everything done in time. So having this dedicated day that's a little bit more free in terms of my schedule makes it much easier for me to successfully meal prep. Part of this kind of meal prepping routine is that I do my grocery shopping on the weekend. So whether it's Saturday or Sunday, I always do my grocery shopping on the weekend. So I already have time to kind of think about what I want to prepare for the week ahead. And not only do I think about the meal I want to prepare, but I think about like what my week's going to look like in terms of food across the board. So I may buy ingredients at the store that make for an easy sandwich or things like that. So it's not always eating out. Just want to throw that in there. Me personally, I like to keep it light for breakfast. I like some high fiber toast with some peanut butter, and lunch is usually like leftovers or also something light. So like I said, a sandwich or some egg and chicken salad on high fiber toast with protein on the side. But not only does thinking about my meals for the week save me time on a daily basis, but having a designated day to cook makes sure that I'm always on schedule. It literally translates into smooth sailing, at least from a meals perspective, for the week. And because I was good throughout the week, by the time Friday rolls around, I actually don't feel bad about ordering takeout. The next habit and routine that helps me manage my time is a daily review of my calendar and Asana. And I obviously look at my calendar and Asana throughout the day, but I always start my day looking at my calendar. So I like to see what meetings or appointments or calls, client calls, things like that are scheduled for the day. And then I like to look at my Asana task list to see what things I actually need to get done for that day. So in case you're not familiar, Asana is like a project and task management tool. It is free actually, and you can basically create projects and create tasks and to-dos and set up recurring tasks and to-dos. So it's something that I've actually been implementing in my business for a long time. I never have to wonder what I need to get done because I can just go to Asana and see, what needs to get done. But I like to start my day understanding what my priorities are for that day and what my day looks like from a call and meeting perspective. So doing that daily review of Asana and my calendar really just helps kind of set the tone for my day. And knowing what's in store for me for the day just makes me feel like I can plan better. Even though my morning routine is set, just knowing what's to come after makes me feel more in control. And also sometimes like if I have a early morning call and the workout that I have planned is an hour, maybe I'll switch to a 30-minute workout just so I can make sure I give myself a little breathing room to get to that early morning call. So if I didn't look at my calendar, I wouldn't know that, and then I'd be stressing and late, and that's never good. That's not what we want. But while I always know what the day ahead looks like, I also like to keep tabs on what the coming days look like. So as I kind of go through my day and complete my calls and my tasks, I just like to level set with myself for what's coming for the rest of the week. Sometimes I can get things done faster than expected and work on my tasks for the next day, or sometimes I get my work done early and then I just chill longer than I had originally planned to. Sometimes I can consolidate 2 days worth of tasks into one day, and then I have a completely free day to get ahead on other things. But if I don't level set with myself, if I don't know what's coming for the next day, I don't have the opportunity to do that. Another routine I have is to spend Friday afternoon setting up my planner for the next week. So I love Emily Lay's Simplified Daily Planner, and I like to fill this planner out in conjunction with reviewing my Acuity appointment scheduler calendar and my iPhone calendar, which includes client calls, personal appointments, all of that. So I look at my iPhone calendar, I look at Acuity, and I get all of that information into my daily planner. And then, just make sure that I'm aware of birthdays or important dates, things like that. I like to end one week essentially knowing what is expected for the next week. Just helps me kind of wrap up the week that I'm currently in and give me like a jump start on what's coming for the next week. So pulling the thread through on appointments and meetings, one habit that really helps me kind of manage my time and be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive is keeping recurring appointments at the same day and time. So whether that's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, having that same day and time makes my life a lot easier. This probably comes as no surprise to you, but I am a type A personality, plus I'm a Virgo, so I thrive on routine and structure, and I manage my time better and just make my life easier for myself by keeping recurring appointments on the same day and time. So for example, my lash extension appointments are bi-weeklies and they're always on Fridays. I try to get it at the exact same time every Friday, but sometimes people beat me to it and I gotta be flexible, but I know it's always on Friday. So every other Friday, I know I got the appointment. And because I know I will always have this appointment at this day and time, I know never to schedule any one-off calls or meetings during that time because I won't, it's going to stress me out. I'm going to have to rush. I don't like doing that. The older I get, the less stressed, the less rush I want to be. And the same kind of goes for therapy. Although I haven't been able to kind of keep therapy on an exact cadence, I do switch out between 2 different days at the same time. So it's not a perfect science, but it does make a difference. So I always know, okay, Tuesdays or Thursdays, I'll likely have therapy. So I need to keep those days minimal. And then most of my City Girl Savings client calls follow this structure as well. So we have the same time, the same day every week. I have clients that I meet with weekly, I have bi-weekly clients, and I have monthly clients. So I try to keep this kind of theme going for every call cadence. Now, I do have some clients who run businesses. So in those cases, we just take it week by week. So I can be flexible, they can be flexible. It is what it is. It doesn't have to be so structured and routine. But since I know my calendar ahead of time, it's never an issue to get them scheduled on the fly. Keeping on the theme of calendars and appointments, the next habit and routine that helps me manage my time is adding future appointments, events, meetings, special dates to my calendar as soon as I know about them. I used to be bad about this and it would totally throw me off. I am one of those people who, if it's not in their calendar, it's not happening. I don't have the space in my mind to remember it needs to be in my calendar. I just have too much in my brain as it is. So trying to remember important dates is just a losing battle. I'm not going to set myself up for failure. I used to think I could do it, and it would literally result in me double or triple booking myself. And this alone caused more stress than necessary. So anytime I have a future appointment, event, meeting, date, anything like that, it is immediately going into my iPhone calendar. So thinking kind of back to my Friday routines of doing my daily planner, I am leveraging my iPhone calendar and my Acuity calendar to get that information into my actual physical daily planner. So it needs to be in my iPhone calendar so that I know, it exists and it's there and it goes into my other planner. But the minute a new call, appointment, a dinner, a meeting, or event, or anything else is scheduled, I will just like stop what I'm doing and put it in my calendar. If I don't have my work phone with me and I just have my personal phone, it'll just go in one phone and then I'll translate it to the other if I need to. But I have noticed that this makes a huge difference, especially for like maybe non-work related things like my lash appointment. If I have an appointment for my nails or my hair, those are appointments that can sometimes leave my mind. So if it's in my phone, I'll think, oh, I forgot I had that. And, I can plan accordingly. But anytime I fail to add an important date or time to my calendar, I usually forget about it and make other plans, and then I stress out. So now I just have the habit and routine of entering the information into my phone calendar as soon as I find out about it. This has also made a huge difference in how I manage and schedule my time. It's reduced a lot of stress for me. If there's one kind of takeaway you take away from this episode, I want it to be that. The minute you know something is blocked or needed to be on your calendar, go ahead and add it to your calendar instantly. All right, the final habit and routine that helps me manage my time is keeping 1 to 2 free days for fluidity and flexibility. I used to be so rigid with my time. I used to be so scheduled and like routine. And I'm still a little bit like that, but not like I was. I left myself no room to be flexible, to be fluid. And it resulted in burnout and stress and just unhappiness. So now a habit that really helps me manage my time is just keeping 1 to 2 free days open each week. And this does include the weekend. So if we have 7 days in a week, I need 1 to 2 free days. Whether one of those days is during the week and one is the weekend, they're both the weekend. I just give myself those 1 to 2 days that are completely free so I can be fluid and flexible. I used to want everything planned and scheduled down to the wire, weekends included, and it just was a recipe for failure. When something didn't go according to my plan, everything would be thrown off. And I know I had talked about this in a previous episode, but I would overcommit myself and then be upset, and I just stopped doing that to myself. Instead, I had to take on a new mantra and affirmation of, I give myself permission to be fluid and flexible. So basically, giving myself permission to be fluid and flexible, allowing things to go wrong or to come up unexpectedly, embracing that affirmation was a game changer for me. Now, I mentioned that I don't take calls on Tuesdays, but I do get focus work done, or if I absolutely need to, I'll schedule like personal appointments, but I try to at least keep one weekday open, if not both. Sometimes I record podcast episodes on Saturday mornings because there are no distractions. So I'm recording this episode on a Saturday morning, but that doesn't happen every week. That's like once a month. So keeping 1 to 2 days per week open for things to come up has helped me manage my time and manage my own expectations. It's just unrealistic to expect that everything will always go according to plan, and failing to have wiggle room for things to come up always ends in unnecessary stress, which we want to avoid. So there you have it, the game-changing habits and routines that have helped me take control of my time and manage it pretty darn well, if I do say so myself. It's always going to be a work in progress. Nothing will ever be perfect, but it feels good to know that I'm getting it down. So feel free to take away anything I shared today and apply it to your own life. And I hope you feel like you are a time management pro.